How do I check for understanding online? Your students are sailing through your online material. How do you make sure students are learning and, more importantly, retaining and understanding the material? One answer to these questions is to include frequent assessment opportunities in your online course. Look for opportunities to include, for example, short questions that provide immediate answers and descriptive feedback. Doing so will not only engage students in the material, but will help guide student learning. Integrating questions in discussion forums, providing rubrics, and incorporating peer evaluations are other valuable assessment opportunities. Let's take a look at some best practices to keep in mind as you consider different assessment tools. First, integrate frequent assessments into your online presentations. Non-graded formative assessments present low stake and low risk to students, with the added benefit of providing ongoing feedback. These types of assessments help you monitor student learning as material is presented. Examples include non-graded short questions, exercises, quizzes, and practice exams. On the other hand, the more traditional graded summative assessments are usually conducted at the end of a chapter, unit, or course to evaluate student learning and determine overall mastery or proficiency. Examples include graded quizzes, midterm and final exams, papers, and course projects. In some courses, simply including exercises from a text, a file, or an online source might be more practical as long as answers are provided so that students get the correct one. We already know that misconceptions persist. Even when students appear to be making progress, they might be doing so with wrong information. By asking early and often, you can catch these problems before they escalate. 2. Provide descriptive, ongoing feedback. Comments that include specific information help the learner understand what he or she needs to do in order to improve. For example, most of your spelling is accurate. I found only 2 errors. See if you can find them. It's well established that students who get good feedback learn more and learn more effectively. 3. Create discussion forums that comment on or ask about key course concepts, requiring students to engage in relevant discussions. Through these discussions, you will be able to spot misconceptions and other problems. Discussion forums can also be an excellent way to connect with students. And finally, rubrics can streamline and guide the grading process as well as provide students with a guide for commenting on each other's work. Assessments, as we've noted, can take the form of questions designed to give instant feedback and are integrated throughout a course or embedded in videos or narrated presentations. The first example shows a question that is embedded in a video. Students must answer to continue. Note the explanation button that provides access to descriptive feedback. In the French course example, the instructor provides several practice exercises in every lesson, along with the answers. Although these exercises are not submitted, students can check their work, thus receiving immediate, correct feedback. In this narrated presentation, the instructor includes both right and wrong answer and open-ended questions. With the right and wrong answer questions, students benefit by getting immediate feedback to their response. With open-ended questions, which may require a little more work on the instructor's part, students are actively engaged in their responses. An added benefit to both types of questions and their answers is gathering data that allows you to track, for one thing, how students are doing, so you can intervene if they're having problems. Quizzes, polls, surveys, forums, exams, graded, ungraded. As you develop your course, discuss with your instructional designer which assessments would work best for you and your material. A well-crafted forum not only helps create community by asking specific questions that get students talking, It can also act as an assessment tool, providing a way for instructors to monitor student understanding along the way. Additionally, it's proven that instructor involvement in forums raises student motivation and overall success in the course. Structured forums can also allow students to provide feedback to each other and even participate in grading peers. Here's where creating a well-designed rubric will come in handy. A well-designed rubric establishes and communicates your standards for acceptable student work. You may already use rubrics in your courses to provide consistent feedback, as well as to streamline and guide the grading process. Rubrics can also be used to guide peer evaluations. You might, for example, have students exchange papers and give peer feedback using the rubric. And students might self-assess their own work as well. Rubrics also provide students the opportunity to develop their own critical thinking skills, to learn how to offer productive feedback, and to accept constructive criticism. So, how do you check for student understanding? As you've seen, there are several assessment tools you can select from to help determine if students are learning and understanding your online material, as well as providing additional opportunities to connect with your students. Whatever tool you use, remember these best practices: integrating frequent assessments, providing descriptive feedback, creating forums that include key course concepts, and including rubrics to help guide peer evaluation.